Yay, okay. Good morning. I'm running late. I got to get us started on Facebook too. I'm here all by my lonesome right now, but not shortly. I know you'll be blowing in on this windy day. If you're local, you'll understand that. If you're not, you'll just think I'm talking nonsense. What am I doing? Oh, yeah. I'm Unity. Oh, good. 2 people are coming in. If you can, give me a thumbs up to tell me if you can hear me fine. If there's if there's no glitches and you can hear me fine, give me a thumbs up. What am I doing here? Oh, good. Yay, you can hear me. Okay. Hang on just a second, YouTube. I am getting us going on Facebook. I should have done this a minute ago, but oh, good. Thank you, Carrie. Carrie just sent me a message that says she can hear me on YouTube. It's so that is the one positive to doing it in my dining room. I actually can get your feedback right away. But don't worry, I'm heading back to Unity. I'm heading back to the building probably next week. I miss it very much. I know y'all do too. Sorry, guys, I'm just a little bit behind today. Although, no, I'm not. It's 9:59. Oh, you'd think I'd never done this before, everybody. Let's see if I can get this right. Start live video over here. Yay! Okay. So everybody's coming in. And as you're doing that, I actually, this is the Daily Word. For those of you who don't know, it is a Unity Worldwide application. You can get it at dailyword.com. And today is November 1st. Happy November 1st. And happy morning where you got one more hour of sleep last night. And so the Daily Word, it's a new one. And always right in the beginning, they have, a contributor who says a little like what this gentleman had to say. He's a reverend, and his name is Thomas Shepard. And so, just as people are coming in, I'm going to read this. It says, "Give thanks in all circumstances." Paul of Tarsus probably wrote those words to bolster a struggling Christian community around 52 CE, which makes his first letter to the Thessalonians the oldest surviving passage in the New Testament. I wonder if the apostle to the Gentiles had any idea how timely his exhortation would be 2,000 years later. It's been quite a year, hasn't it? The lingering effects of COVID-19, another mind-numbing campaign season, ongoing concern about economic decline, and locked up with my loved ones until the specter of running away from home floated through our domestic conversation. In other words, that's a really lovely floral way of saying that he wanted to get out of Dodge. Well, okay, there was no safe place to run, so we muddled through as best we could. Looking back on the year, it sometimes feels as if reasons for gratitude have fallen off the edge of the earth. Give thanks in all circumstances can be a hard reach when people are hurting so much. COVID-19 has presented too many images of beautiful people who died alone. Meditating on the radical idea of giving thanks in all circumstances, I began to recognize the difference between giving thanks for and giving thanks during a personal, communal, or global catastrophe. Like in this moment, I am not thankful for my dog who is barking, but in this moment, I can be thankful for something. I can be thankful that I have a home and a dog that loves us enough to bark when she hears something outside our door. And so what I was, again, I'm just reading this as we're all coming in. And what that reminded me of is the quote, and I can't quite remember who said it, but it's this idea that I cannot be grateful for every moment, but I can be grateful in every moment. You can find something to be grateful for in every moment, even though you can't be necessarily grateful for the moment as it's happening. So there's a little something as we're walking in this morning. A reminder to everybody, we've got a meeting today, a very exciting meeting where we're talking about our mortgage that we got final approval on, yay, for our building. And so we need to have a community meeting. According to the bylaws, we have to vote on it, vote on accepting, going forward with the traditional mortgage. So that will be happening. YouTube, if you can hear me, can I get one more thumbs up? Because I'm starting to think that I might be glitching out. Yeah, it looks like people are starting to go over to Facebook. So I'm wondering if, okay. Shoot. I've got a barking dog. I've got apparently a YouTube that's not working. Yeah, you guys are leaving. You're coming over. Okay, I'm going to give you a minute. I'm going to give you a minute because I think YouTube's not working. I think YouTube's not working. Honey, can you please take care of Ellie, please? Sorry, I had to break away and ask Keith to take care of the dog. Yeah, you guys are coming into Facebook. So I'm guessing that YouTube is pixelated. Shoot. So frustrating. Okay, well, you know what? We take a breath. And you know what? I forgot to take a breath. Okay, let's do that together, everybody. Let's take a breath together. I'm hearing that YouTube is pixelated. If you're on YouTube and I am pixelated, you can head on over to our Facebook page and get the live feed there. And while we're doing that, we're going to take a breath together. So I just invite us all just to get comfortable wherever we are and breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth. I know that I am breathing in. I know that I am breathing out. In this moment, we are allowing all things to be exactly as they are. Embracing the purposefulness of our being right here, right now. We are willing to be pointed toward our own wisdom and our own knowing, our own next understanding of who we are and what we're doing here. There is nothing for us to do or be. We are simply here now, allowing the fullness of who we are. Wisdom and truth are here now, expressing themselves in all that we think, in all that we say, and in all that we do. Thy will be done. One more breath together. And as you are ready, you can gently come back to this moment in time and space. So this is what I want to share with everybody this morning. I had the great good fortune of participating yesterday in a workshop done and given by Elizabeth Gilbert and Rob Bell. And I had that opportunity because my dear friend Christy made it so. She actually signed me up. It was a workshop that was intended to be in person, but because of COVID, it kept getting moved and then ultimately went to the virtual platform. And it was wonderful. And I want to share a tool with you that Elizabeth Gilbert gave to us yesterday. And as I was sitting with this idea of giving you this tool, it was amazing. I could actually hear in my mind some some voices of dissent, some voices that said things like, "Well, this just doesn't apply to me. This tool doesn't apply to me." I wrote them down so I'd remember. So I'm gonna give this tool, and I just want you to become aware if your inner monologue sounds something like this. If it says, "You know what, this doesn't apply to me. It doesn't apply to me because I've already listened mindfully to my fear. Uh, it doesn't apply to me because I'm kind of past that in my spiritual journey." Or it doesn't apply to me because I'm content with the way things are and I don't really need to look inward at this particular tool. And I just want to invite you to become aware if that voice comes up. I also want to invite you to become aware if a voice comes up um, that says, "Yay, another tool! I really need to fix myself." Just becoming aware of that voice, or become aware if you think, "Oh, I can think of a handful of people who really need to do that tool, but not me." Or I can think of 100 ways in which other people are falling short, but I can't really recall one for myself. Or I can think of 100 ways where I'm falling short, and I'm so consumed by that that I can't even see other people. I'm just inviting you to just become aware of this voice that may enter in as I'm talking about this tool, as I'm sharing this tool with you. In Unity, we have 5 principles, right? We don't have any dogma, but we do have principles. And the third principle we have is we are co-creators with God, and we create reality through thoughts held in mind. I'm going to say that again. Number 3 is we are co-creators with God, and we co-create reality through thoughts held in mind. So if that's true, is there anything more important than the thoughts held in our mind? If we believe that we are co-creating with God through the thoughts held in our mind, what could be more important than becoming aware of the quality of the thoughts that we are holding in our mind? Okay, so just inviting you to kind of soak that in while I share this tool with you. And so the tool that she gave us yesterday was imagine that, the wisest part of you, the most enlightened part of you, it's like you invite them into the room. You guys, this is a little bit similar to Have Tea with Your Dragon. This is another kind of take on it. And she says, invite this part, into the living room of your mind. And what she had us do was write a letter to us, to that loving part from our fear. And it went like this. Dear Lydia, I am your fear. This is what I want to tell you. And the next sentence said, I am afraid of. And then she set a timer and she said, write the letter. Let fear empty itself out. Let fear tell you what it's afraid of. And don't try to fix fear. Don't try to use logic. Don't do anything other than let it speak. What we are is a compassionate ear for this fear to be given voice. Something happened this week in my and Keith's life, and it was a very anxious, anxiety-producing thing that happened, and I was in full-on anxiety mode with this thing. And I, by the end of the evening, the day had gone on, and it was like I was getting more anxious and more anxious and more anxious. And by the end of the evening, I realized that, like, I was sitting across from him and I said, I just need you to hear me say this. So like I'm telling him, what I need to say. And what I realized is it wasn't so he could fix something. It wasn't, it was because I knew at some level, even though I was in full on anxiety mode, that if I would give this fear voice, if I would give this anxiety voice, if I'd bring it to the light, if I'd just say it, it would dissipate. And that was the idea. So Elizabeth Gilbert sets the timer and we're writing this letter. Dear Lydia, I am your fear. This is what I want to tell you. And we wrote and wrote and wrote. And I think she set the timer for 5 minutes. And she pointed out some very interesting things. She pointed out at the end, isn't it interesting that, did you notice that after a time you kind of didn't have any more to say? Fear didn't have any more to say. And we tend to think of our fear, of the fears that we have, as these big, huge things with no end. This is what Elizabeth Gilbert pointed out. And yet, really, our fears are finite. And when we can look at it in that way, when we can see that, oh, really, that was just one page of fears, is that really the part that I'm going to let drive the car that is my life? Here's why this is important. I said just a minute ago, we are co-creators with God, and we are co-creating with God through the thoughts that we hold in our mind. If we are not willing to listen to these thoughts that we hold in our mind, to become aware of what fear is saying, because it's talking, whether or not we're aware of it, fear comes up and it's talking. And if we don't hear it, we are co-creating reality from that space, from that place. If I look out at the world and see any brokenness, if I see any brokenness in the world, then it is up to me to look within and own the broken parts of myself, to love and accept them, give them compassion, so that I can then do that for the broken parts of the world. And that is how we heal the world. That is how we heal divisiveness. That is how we heal. It's a moment where we're just so divided on so many things, and there's judgment all over the place. And it doesn't get fixed. We've said this over and over again. It doesn't get fixed by looking out and saying how terrible it all is. That's not how it gets fixed. We are co-creators in this reality. What did Rob Bell said? We all of us are participating in creating the world. Many teachers have said this in many different ways. And so this tool is about inviting these pieces. You can invite your anger into the room, right? My suggestion is that you think of the one thing that it's not okay for you to be. For me, it's angry. Like I've said this to you guys before. I often won't even use the word angry. I'll say frustrated, because I so don't want to own that I have anger. So you invite that part into the room, right? Or if you can't find it in you, whatever you're looking out, as soon as you look out at a person and you have judgment, what they do bothers you, whatever that thing is, that's the thing to bring into the room and let it speak. Yours. Let yours speak. You couldn't perceive it in the world if it wasn't in you. This week, I've said this, many times in many different ways. And for a long time, I grew up very afraid, and because of the circumstances of my childhood, and this is true for all of us, we've developed these coping strategies, right? And so I was in victim consciousness for a really long time, right? I was trying to keep myself safe. And people in victim consciousness, they, whether consciously or unconsciously, they aren't truthful. They can manipulate. It's because they're afraid their needs won't get met. And so they want to do something to get their needs met, right? And so for a really long time, I wasn't honest. I wasn't honest with myself. I wasn't honest with other people. It wasn't necessarily that I just lied. It's that I would do lies by omission. I wouldn't tell. I wouldn't speak up about what I was really thinking or feeling. And so this week, a situation happened where I perceived that happening in someone else. I perceived that this person was not being honest. And I had this huge reaction to it. I mean, huge reaction to it. And the reason why I had this huge reaction to it is because it's in me. If it wasn't in me, it wouldn't bother me, right? And so part of this practice that we're doing in allowing our fear to write a letter, allowing our anger to write a letter, part of what we are doing is cultivating this compassionate essence part of us, right? And allowing that part to just, the way I think of it is this. I wrote it down. Oh, it's like when you sit and listen, when you let these broken, and I say broken, so let me clarify. None of us are broken. And yet we have fearful parts of us. We have parts of us that we perceive as broken, right? And those parts aren't us. The truth of us is not broken, but we have coping strategies that are. So, okay, what was I saying? I just wanted to make sure I clarified that. So, what we are doing in letting these broken aspects of us speak is we are sitting in that seat of our essence, and that essence is bathing that part of us in acceptance. It's like a bath in acceptance. You're not trying to fix it. Elizabeth Gilbert said, if your fear starts wanting you to give it answers about how to fix something, she says, say, sorry, honey, that's not my department, but I love you and I'm here, I'm listening. And I know, so take a breath, because I can almost feel some of you, because it's in me. I can feel me going, I don't really need this. I don't really need to do this. And I'm lovingly suggesting that if you can hear my words, you do. There's a reason why you're here, right? There's a reason why you're here. And it's because we're all growing and evolving. It's because we are here to get the next piece of the puzzle of our understanding of who we are. And it's not get it from me, it's get it from your soul. I am mirroring to you a message from your soul. And we're doing this because we have a responsibility to co-create with God. Okay, that was the fear part. Now let me tell you the good part, everybody, before I close up shop. Here's the good part. So she had us also write a letter from our enchantment, okay? So this is how she gave some examples of enchantment, and I'll give you some examples of enchantment for me. I remember I think, really young, like elementary school kid age. And I remember this moment where I was playing with my sister, and we were taking leaves and sticks, and we were pretending that it was like food, that we were making this food, and we were like putting it in a pot, and we were stirring it with these sticks. And I remember this moment where I stopped and thought, what is this? Like, it was magic. I was so happy, and it was so enchanting that it got my attention, that at this young age, this elementary school age, I went, what is this? What is this moment where I am feeling so happy, so content? And, because a lot of my time in childhood was spent in fear, I'm sure that I was quite astonished. Okay, so that's one example of enchantment. Another example of enchantment is when I was coaching Kai's football game, and I got totally lost in it. I was having so much fun, high-fiving the kids, coming up with plays, cheering them on, running down the field. It was cold. It was raining. I don't stand out in the cold. I don't stand out in the rain. I took off my jacket. I'm running. I didn't even know what the temperature was because I was enchanted. I was absolutely enchanted in that moment, right? So these are moments of enchantment. And and she says to let your enchantment write a letter. Okay, everybody take a breath. If you're not open to this, just take a breath and see if you can be curious, because it's good. Okay, I'm going to read you my enchantment letter. Dear Lydia, I am your enchantment, and this is what I want to tell you. I love it when you open yourself to me. I love it when you catch the idea for a Sunday talk. I love it when it starts to take shape. One of the last times we were together is when you coached Kai's football game, and then when you stood in awe of the wonder that is your son, Connor. I love it when you laugh at yourself. I love it when you open yourself up to strangers and silently acknowledge your oneness. I love it when you're flexible and spontaneous. I love it when you watched Downton Abbey and fell in love with Lady Grantham. I loved it when you discovered memes and when you send them to your friends and family and crack yourself up when you're alone in the room. I love it when you pause and take a Thich Nhat Hanh breath. Sincerely, your enchantment. So here's the thing that she suggested to us. If we're wondering what our purpose is, read your enchantment list. We are here to be co-creators with God. The way that Elizabeth Gilbert said it is the divine wants to know what it's like to be you. Don't you love that? God wants to know what it's like to be Lydia. And how can I fully be Lydia? How can you fully be you? You're in your place of enchantment. That's it, right? I see all the hearts. Everybody's like, yes, 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 I feel it too. Yes, 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 me too, me too. So can you feel that, right? The divine wants to know what it's like to be us. And the enchantment part of us, that's it. And the fear part of us, that's just blocking the enchantment part. And so we got to give it voice so that it can die down and we can experience that enchantment. The other thing she said is, so if I go back to my fear list, right? What's one of my fears? I didn't read to you about my fears. So you take one of your fears. I'm afraid. I'm trying not to give one that's really, really personal. Hold on. What does it say? I'm wow. Okay. How authentic do I want to be? I'm afraid of not having something to say tomorrow. Okay, that was yesterday, right? So this is talking about Sunday. So I'm afraid of not having something to say tomorrow. Here's what I can do. I can go to my enchantment list and pick out a something on that enchantment list and do that. And that thing will cure that fear. That fear will dissipate, right? So write the letter from you. No, from your enchantment to you. And it goes like this. I'm going to give you the start again. Everybody get a pen because you're going to do it. I know you're going to do this tool because you are serious about co-creating with God. And you are serious about creating from the loving truth of who you are. So you got a pen, everybody? Okay. So fear letter starts like this. Thank you, Elizabeth Gilbert. Y'all, I totally want to give her credit. This is her practice, her tool that I'm giving to you. And I'm very, very grateful for her. And, you know, she's been a teacher of mine for a really long time. Okay, so here is how the afraid letter starts. Dear Lydia, but, you know, you put your name. I am your fear. This is what I want to tell you. I am afraid of, and then go. And she said, as far as she's concerned, every single sentence can start with, I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of this person. I'm afraid of this thing. I'm afraid this will happen. I'm afraid this, you know, over and over. And that's what my fear list did. And then, and because you're emptying it out, and remember, the loving, most wise part of you is just compassionately listening to that fear. And then your enchantment. Oh, y'all, I need to also tell you, hold on. I got so excited with Elizabeth Gilbert that I thought I'm going to forget this stuff. Oh, shoot, I don't think I wrote it down. Okay, so fear letter, you're going to do that. Most grateful person. Oh, that's right. She said your fear is the youngest, most unwise part of yourself. It's the youngest, most unwise part of yourself. And the oldest, wisest, most enlightened part of you, the truth of you, the essence of you, helps that young, unwise part feel safe just by letting it be heard. Just by letting it be heard. Okay, so that was the fear letter. Here's the enchantment letter. Dear Lydia, Y'all, I have so many notes because I was so excited to talk to y'all about this. Dear Lydia, I am your enchantment, and this is what I want to tell you. I love it when, and then go. Just write that down, everybody. So this one, I want these. Here's some things. Okay, so whether you know it or not, you are here today to get a deeper realization of who you are and why you're here. Whether I'm aware of it or not, that's why we're here. That's what we're doing here in this moment. And it's not because Lydia's going to tell you, it's because your soul's going to tell you, right? It's your Christ nature is going to tell you, and use my lips, use my words. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure that I give you all the notes I wanted to say. Okay, yes. So remember, if you look out and see a broken world, if you look out and see a broken politician, if you look out and see a broken anything, it's time to recover these broken aspects of yourself. Give it voice. Let it be. And that enchantment part, the divine wants to know what it's like to be you. And Rob Bell said it this way: I am a unique experience of the universe. I am a unique experience of the universe. Never been done before, never will be done again. Hot dog, that's exciting. Okay. All right, so we're going to go over to the daily word. Just a reminder, everybody, at 10:40, we're going to head on over to the Zoom meeting. I posted a link in the members only for that Zoom meeting to vote on the mortgage. Oh, I love this one, y'all. I'm excited to tell you about this one. Okay, so Sunday, November 1st, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Hang on. The word is remember. I bless the people whose lives have touched mine. Grandparents, parents, siblings, members of my extended family, teachers, friends, co-workers, every person I've known has, by his or her example, helped me feel more deeply what it means to be human. Some have encouraged my curiosity. Some have taught me life skills. Some have modeled positive attitudes and behaviors. Some have loved me fully and unselfishly. And some have helped me learn to love even when loving felt difficult. Today, I remember the people whose lives have touched mine. I pause to think kindly of each one as I savor memories of time we spent together. Whether we're still in one another's lives, have lost touch, or are separated by death, I know the experiences we have shared continue to enrich our lives and deeply bless us on our spiritual journeys. And the verse is Romans 1:9. I remember you always in my prayers. Have y'all ever done this? I love this practice. It is one of those practices that help you get back in touch with the enchantment. I like to do this thing sometimes where it could be at night when I'm falling asleep, or just any old time where I want to daydream. I let myself go through kind of years of my life chronologically, and I let myself allow people's faces to come to my mind, people who have been in my life before. Actually, you guys they're probably all on your Facebook friends. I mean, I don't have that because I haven't been doing that long, but in any case, I let these people's images come up in my mind, and I silently say thank you, and I silently wish them well, wish them love, wish them happiness. It is such a life-giving practice. So I recommend it wholeheartedly. Tonight, as you're laying down in bed, allow yourself to just let people's faces come to your mind. And each one, just, if you can't say thank you, if you can't feel a thank you, say, I wish you well. I wish you happiness. I wish you love. It's good stuff. Look, Brenda Souser. Brenda sent me this. I'm using it as a bookmark. Okay. So I want to remind everybody before we do our final prayer of protection and then meet over on the Zoom meeting, I want to remind everybody that we have our matching fundraiser going on now. Ben explains it in an amazing Facebook Live. Carrie and Brenda dressed up as pirates and did one to remind us yesterday. We've sent out emails, we've sent out letters. We're really trying to get the word out that we have 2 members who have agreed to match up to a total of $13,000 during this window of time. I believe it's, it's going on now, started Wednesday, and it goes on through November 11th. So Keith and I already donated. I invite you to do the same. I felt so good knowing that it was multiplied by 2. So, okay. So let's do our prayer of protection, and then let's meet at 10:40 in the Zoom meeting so we can vote on this mortgage. Ugh, I hate that YouTube is pixelated, y'all. Okay. God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Okay, so I will see you at 10:40 on the Zoom meeting, everybody. Finishing up, pop on over there. The link is in members only. It's also in the email blast. Okay. Bye, YouTube. I'm sorry it didn't work out between you and I today.